Planning Zoning Historical Committee will now in session. Is here 14. We are going to start with a consent agenda. The following item will be on consent right now. Starting with BL 2017-988, 989, 990, 991, 992, 993, 994, 995, 996, 997, 998, 999, 1000, 1001, 1002, BL 2017-927, and 928. Not on the consent agenda is bills on second reading, BL 2017-985, and bills on third readings, BL 2017-819, 2017-898. So everything else is on consent agenda. Is there anybody who needs to pull out those bills on consent agenda? Seeing none, is there anybody who would like to move all in consent agenda? Oh, okay. So before I do that, let me read the bills and caption. BL 2017-988, sponsored by O'Connor, Bettany, and Elrod. Authorize 12th Avenue Partners LLC to install, construct, and maintain underground and aerial encroachments in the right-of-way located at 306 12th Avenue South. BL 2017-989, O'Connell, Bettany, and Elrod authorizes 7th and Taylor Homeowners Association, Inc. to install, construct, and maintain underground encroachments in the right-of-way located at 701B Taylor Street. BL 2017-990, sponsored by Rotten, Vircher, and others, authorizes acquisition of certain right-of-way easement, drainage easement, temporary construction easements, and property rights for purpose of Dodson Chapel Road sidewalk improvements. Next, BL 2017-991, sponsored by Hastings, Vircher, and others, authorizes the acquisition of right-of-way easement, drainage easement, temporary construction easement, and property rights for purpose of the Cecilia Avenue sidewalk improvements. BL 2017-992, Roberts, Vircher, and others, authorize the acquisition of right-of-way easement, drainage easement, temporary construction easements, and property rights for purpose of Burgess Avenue sidewalk improvements. BL 2017-993, Vircher, Bettany, and others, authorize the acquisition of right-of-way easement, drainage easements, temporary construction easement, and property rights for purpose of the Harding Place sidewalk improvements. Next one is BL 2017-994, Vircher, Bettany, Elrod, authorizes acquisition of right-of-way easements, drainage easement, temporary construction easement, and property rights for purpose of Delmas Avenue sidewalk improvements. Next one is 2017-995, sponsored by O'Connell, Vircher, and others, authorizes the acquisition of certain right-of-way easements, drainage easement, temporary construction easement, and property rights for purpose of Harmon Street sidewalk improvements. 2017-996, sponsored by Hager, Vircher, and others, authorizes acquisition of certain right-of-way easements, drainage easements, temporary construction easement, and property rights for purpose of the 9th, 11th, Bryan, Livingston, Merritt sidewalk improvements. Next one is BL 2017-997 authorizes acquisition of certain right-of-way easements, drainage easement, temporary construction easement, and property rights for purpose of Cleveland Drive sidewalk improvements. Next, 2017-998 authorizes the acquisition of right-of-way easements, a drainage easement, temporary construction easement, and property rights for purpose of the J.E. Estelle Drive sidewalk improvements, sponsored by Syracuse, Virtue, and others. Next, 2017-999, sponsored by Elrod, Virtue, Bethany, authorizes the acquisition of right-of-way easements, drainage easement, temporary construction easement, and property rights for purpose of the Walford Drive sidewalk improvements. And the last of the sidewalk project is BL 2017-1000, sponsored by Leonard, Virtue, and others. Authorizes acquisition of right-of-way easements, drainage easement, temporary construction easement, and property rights for purpose of the West Hamilton Avenue sidewalk improvements. Next on the consent agenda is BL 2017-1001, sponsored by Van Rees, Bethany, and others, changes the name or portion of Sharon Road to Creative Way. BL 2017-1002, sponsored by Van Rees, Bethany, and others, names of Frontage Road, Inspiration Boulevard. And next one is BL 2017-927, sponsored by Blaylock, cancels 4.2 acres of planned unit development overlay district for properties located at Old Hickory Boulevard, unnumbered, east of Nolensville Pike. And last on the consent agenda is BL 2017-928, sponsored by Blaylock, changes 4.22 acres from SCR to SP zoning, a property located at Old Hickory Boulevard, unnumbered, east of Nolensville Pike, to permit a self-service storage facility. Is there a motion to move all consent agenda? Any discussion? All in favor? Opposition? All consent agenda was approved. Okay, bills not on consent agenda. First one, BL 2017-985, sponsored by Leonardo, Virtue, and others. Authorizes the transfer of property located at 1010 Camilla Caldwell Lane from Metro to the Metro Development and Housing Authority for the purpose of constructing affordable and workforce housing. Is there a second? Councilmember Leonard.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a substitute. At this time, I'd like to move the substitute, please.
The motion to move substitute. All in favor? Oppose? Substitute was approved.
And at this time, I'd like to move approval for second reading on the bill as substituted. Thank you.
Bill as a substitute. All in favor? Oppose? Any discussion? Bill passes as substituted. So next agenda is BL 2017-819, sponsored by Kendall and Allen. Changes 0.49 acres from ORI to SP for properties located at 109, 111, and 113 29th Avenue North to permit a hotel. It was moved, and I believe there's a substitute. Anybody want to move substitute? Any second? All in favor of moving substitute? Opposed? Councilor Lady Allen.
Before we vote, can we get a description of what the substitute includes? Please.
Sure. Planning table.
Sure. The substitute reduces the allowable floor area for the hotel. It reduces the height and also adds some other conditions to the bill.
So what does that lower the FAR to?
4.0.
4.0. It was 5 something or?
I believe it was either 4.5 or 5, correct?
Okay, so now it's down to 4, and then what was the other thing?
When it was approved by the Planning Commission, the condition was 4.25 for the FAR. So they've gone from 4.25 to 4.
To 4. Okay, and the second thing you said it changed was?
It reduced the height limit to 90 feet.
It had been at 90 feet already, I believe. That was an old substitute. Okay. So maybe they've reduced the number of rooms back down to 150?
The SP doesn't have that in it because the hotel is permitted based off the floor area, so it doesn't have a limit on number of rooms. However,
Okay.
it is, I would also add that in the substitute, it limits the finished elevation. So that's providing some limitations on height.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any other question? So no other question. I would like to take liberty to ask a little bit of question to the planning staff. At the public hearing, there was quite a few concerns raised by nearby neighbors, and I understood Council Member Kendall conducted additional community meeting to come up with a difference. How's the community meeting went?
Correct. Councilmember Kendall has been in contact with both the applicant party and a party representing neighboring property owners in the 31st and Long area. And the conditions that you see in the substitute are a result of those meetings and conversations. So that's what the resulting meetings and mostly conversations led to.
Thank you. And also another concern was, out here, UDO, and I believe base zoning is ORI, and UDO is explicitly, express either multi-housing residential unit over other use. However, if I'm not mistaken, ORI under the land use table, hotel use is allowable use. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Thank you. Councilor Lady Allen, are you seeking another recognition? Okay.
So are we on the bill as substituted now?
Yes, that is correct.
Great. So just one more question for clarification. Then in terms of the policy as well, it's T5MU or something like that. Can you speak to what's allowed under the policy?
The policy is a T5 center mixed-use neighborhoods, and it does allow a substantial amount of construction within that policy. What you see here as far as both the use and the scale of the construction is consistent with the policy.
Okay, thank you. I think that's important to be aware of as well. Thank you.
Thank you. So now we are voting bill as substituted. All in favor? Opposed? Okay. Motion passes 13-1. Next, Bill 2017-898, sponsored by SWOP and Syracuse. Amend the Metro Code pertaining to electric fences. And I believe there's an amendment. Anybody want to move amendment? No amendment? Oh, it says possible amendment. It says possible amendment.
Yeah, it wasn't submitted, so we don't, and it's not in the packet.
Oh, okay.
But is there a letter to approve?
Nope.
We have Syracuse.
Syracuse is.
Syracuse is co-sponsor.
Yeah. So Councilman Syracuse, is there amendment, or would you like to move the bill as is? Sorry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Maybe Mr. Jameson can tell us what the, about the substitute?
We don't have an amendment in the pack. There's not an amendment in
Oh,
the packet.
well then move as unamended.
Move the bill as it written. Any other discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Bill is recommended as it's written.
And that's it.
I think that's conclude the Planning Zoning Historical Committee.